The first principle is the principle of equality. I think if you said to somebody walking down the street in North America or around the world in democracy, and you said, do you think all people are equal? Do they are created equal? We'd probably say, yeah, it's a foundational principle to any democracy, that all people are equal. But I'd like to flesh out that idea a little bit and talk about what it means just in practical terms and in the way we interact with other people. For me, to say that we are equal with other people means that we see the other person as of equal value. The most powerful person in the world can treat a janitor like a person who counts. They can see them as a person who matters. And to say that I see you as important is that I believe you need my attention, that your words count, and I'm going to be present to you. But most importantly, it's that I believe you count. I believe that you matter, and I don't think I'm more important than you. Now, a lot of books I've read that sort of flesh this out, but one of the most important is this one by Edgar Schein called Helping. It's a great book, I think. Also a great audiobook if you're driving around and you want to listen to it. I first read it that way and then went through the book again. And Schein is, of course, one of the most influential people talking about organizational culture and how people interact. His book on organizational culture and leadership is seminal in the field of organizational behavior. And in this book, he talks about helping relationships when one person helps another person. And what Schein says is, if I feel the person who's helping me thinks they're better than me, I'm likely not going to embrace what they're giving me. He says it in a couple different ways. He said, if I put myself one up, or if I'm perceived to put myself one up, and put the other person one down, it's going to significantly interfere with the capacity to be helped. People will resist help if they feel they're not getting the status they deserve. There's another way he puts it, he said, especially when you were talking adult to adult. If one adult puts themselves in the role of being a parent and puts the other person in the role of being a child, saying, I need to tell you what to do, I can't trust you to do this, I have to watch you, I have to keep on top of you because you can't be trusted to do it on your own. If I take on the role of being a parent and put you in the role of being a child, what Schein says is, people will resist. In fact, sometimes they resist, he says, in childish ways. Another way in which we can be unequal is in judging other people. I've said this many times, but judgment is a learning killer. Judgment is an intimacy killer. The moment I judge another person, I just say, what are they thinking doing that? Don't they know better than that? I can't believe they did that stupid thing. The moment I judge another person, I put myself up here and I put them down there, and I inhibit the capacity for intimacy, to really feel equal with the person. And also learning, because if I judge the other person, they're not going to be very vulnerable with me. They're not going to open up. I'm not going to bare my soul to somebody who makes me feel like I'm not a good person. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about discernment. I'm talking about moralistic judgment. When my comment says, not that here's what reality says, but my comment says you're not a good person. And when I say something like, how did they come to parent like that? Don't they know any better than that? I can't believe this stuff they're doing. Can you believe that? Or can you believe this new person we've got on campus, the way they act? I can't, when you judge another person, you put yourself up here and you put them down here. Now, I was working in New Orleans, and I was working with a group of teachers, and there was a coach over here, and there was a teacher over here. And the teacher was struggling because the class was really out of control. And she said she needed help, and she was a young teacher, very committed, bright, but way over her head. And she said, sometimes the kids come in my class, and they're fighting, and they're rolling around on the floor, and I don't know what to do. And her coach was sitting over here, and she looked at the teacher, and she said, how do you let that happen? That shouldn't be going on. How do you let that happen? That should not happen in your class. And what she did is she judged the teacher. And in that moment, the teacher was out. She was done. She didn't say another word, because once she was judged, she was unwilling to take the chance that it would take to learn. She wasn't going to be vulnerable because she'd been judged. So there's a lot wrapped up in this idea of equality, but if you wanted to summarize it in a basic notion, it's the notion that I see the other person as no less important than myself. I see the other person as a person who counts. That's manifested in the other principles we're going to look at, starting with choice.